Okay, so alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is MPC on MCP episode 4. I am Pat, the P of JMPR Gaming, and with me, as always, we have
Matt, the N.
And we are back. Thank you for waiting, everybody. It was a little delay. Matt did a nice little fill-in episode, but I was iller for longer than we anticipated. Unfortunately, I had a little stay in hospital, which wasn't fun, but meant couldn't really record from a very busy and noisy ward. But I am back home, and the second day back, we were going to record an episode. So today,
that is commitment.
We are going to be looking. That's commitment. Yeah. I mean, just so everyone knows, I'm currently actually doing my own IV antibiotics at the moment. So we got to wait for them to finish anyway. So we might as well record an episode, right? So today's episode is a little look at the Cabal. So the second affiliation that you get in the starter box. We did the Avengers last time, and this is an affiliation that I don't think either of us have played all that much, but I think it's an affiliation that after doing our research, we're both like, I think this could be fun, and I want to look at this a little bit more. Do you agree?
Absolutely agree. I am. It was something I was looking at anyway before this episode, and it was having played a couple of people playing it recently. It got me thinking, actually I need to go back and look at some of these characters. It's a big roster. You can easily sort of mix it in with some other factions, which we'll be looking at. Factions that I already play. So yes, it's a very varied roster. We're going to look at that. We'll sort of go into the characters first in a minute. And then we'll go through a couple of lists that we sort of had a little play around with. Thank you, Wargaming Dad, for coming up with our sort of slightly more competitive list. As again, we're a little bit experienced with this guys on that side of it. Firstly, Pat, welcome back.
So we said we had sort of like a brainstorm. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be back.
Just add that as well.
Yeah, it was scary at one point. I'm not gonna lie. When you go in hospital and then you come out of hospital and then they're like, you must go back to hospital now, and then spend another 2 weeks in hospital. It wasn't fun, but actually, you know what? I'm not going to speak a bad word about the NHS. Everyone who looked after me was absolutely perfect, super pleasant, and I would recommend hospital if you're looking for a comfortable bed and 3 square meals a day. Just got to put it out there.
And the food didn't look bad from what you were showing us.
The food was actually very yummy. It was just what was nutritionally needed to eat, which meant that it was a very small portion. It was fine. I spent most of the day sleeping anyway, so the joys of being on 12 different types of medication. But it is what it is, and I'm back ready to play some MCP. That's the game. MPC is what we are. MCP is the game. And actually, you've been introducing another member of JMPR to this game on Tabletop Simulator.
Absolutely.
I think you played a little introduction game with John.
Demo game with John. Obviously, Rob's had an introductory game back when we actually were allowed outside. But John, who has been sort of asking about it, I finally got some time to sit down with him. Well, not with him, but sit down at a computer away from him and take him through just literally the core set introductory game. And actually, Joe, it's one of the closest games of MCP I have played. End of round 4 was 16 all.
I mean, I'm gonna, we played like 4 or 5 introduction games now, because obviously I think we did 2, and then we did one with Rob, and might have done 2 with Rob.
We've done
and I think
2, one with each side.
Another guy from, and then I think we did one with Grant at the club as well.
Yeah, we did.
And I think all of them, like I think obviously AMG have done this on purpose, where they've very purposefully created that starter set. And it's not like the good guys versus bad guys, is it? It's sort of like a mixture of all of them, and it's just super balanced.
Cabal, but they've got Spider-Man.
Because it's like Spider-Man's,
and Black Widow is on that side.
Yeah.
And then you've got Crossbones and Doc Ock on the Avengers side.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah.
But
that's cool. That's cool.
It's actually really good because it makes the Avengers a more punchy team and the Cabal a more grabby and running team, which is kind of not necessarily the opposite of how they play in the actual when you expand a little bit, but definitely Cabal are a bit more of a punchy team, which we will see.
Well, I think you say that, but I think this roster that you've come up with can be quite controlling.
100%. I definitely did go down that route with with both rosters. Actually, obviously the second one we had some help with, but
but it looks good. And basically, I think the idea of getting like John and Rob into it, obviously, so that we can play the game with more people, but we want to do some of these ultimate encounters because they look wicked. They look wicked, and we got Ultron, we got Hulk, we got Thanos, we got Killmonger, and then we've got loads more coming out. We've just seen the Magneto one. We've seen, the Magneto one was sort of leaked. There's the Dormammu one that's sort of been shown
the Sentinel
on
one.
some of these order slips.
One,
the Sentinel. I think that would be the Magneto one. Yeah. But yeah, I think these ultimate encounters look wicked, and
cool.
All right, we're back. Right. Apologies. That is internet on my end. I was connected to the wrong Wi-Fi, and this should be better.
Yeah, it already seems a little bit faster.
It definitely seems better. So I think what we should do is actually just get cracking with our little look at Cabal. So
firstly, let's have a look at the character list. It's a big affiliation. It's the biggest bad guy affiliation we've got at the minute. I mean, bad, good, depending on how you see them. Misunderstood.
Yep.
We currently have one leader.
But we know of another, right?
But we're assuming, right?
Yes,
we're assuming. But in fact, there was another picture put out today by Atomic Mass of Sin in front of Red Skull.
Yeah.
So we're assuming she's going to have a leadership ability. Who knows what it's going to be? Hopefully, it's good, or something a bit different. But we've got Red Skull as our leader.
Oh, I love that promo. Beautiful. Not jealous at all.
Yeah, I know, but it did cost. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I think I grabbed it like 10 quid off eBay or something.
Yeah, I think it's
him and Captain America and the actual little token as well.
Oh, wicked, cool.
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. It was like £10. So we got Red Skull. We've got Baron Zemo. We've got Bullseye, Crossbones, Enchantress, Killmonger, Kingpin, Loki, Magneto, MODOK, Mystique, Sabretooth, and Ultron. So, obviously, a few of those are from the core set. We've got 4 characters straight away. If you picked up the core set, you've already got a Cabal roster, essentially. Yeah. At least certainly the beginnings of a decent one. You've got the leader, which is always helpful.
I was like, I think you have the leader, and then by the time you're getting to a competitive roster, most of the other ones have been cut. You keep Zemo.
I think
you like
Crossbones. Crossbones is making a comeback. Crossbones is making a comeback. Now there's more shenanigans to get him in places faster. I do feel Crossbones is going to be seen a little bit more. Ultron, I don't see a way back for him currently.
It's tricky.
Just the way the game's gone, and he's in that slot where there's so much competition for characters in that 4 point. He is 4, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he is. In that fourth threat slot, there's just too much position for characters at the moment, and I think he just doesn't make the cut compared to the other 4
weird, isn't it? Because you look at him and you're just like, okay, he's got loads of health, he's got really good defenses.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of immunities.
Yeah.
When he's defending, like, wilds count as 2 successes against certain attacks, and
Mental
you're just
attacks,
like,
yeah.
is it mental attacks?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you're just like, okay, and his attacks aren't terrible, so why doesn't he see play? And you're right, like, he weirdly just doesn't seem to, like.
I just don't. He's not the hardest hitter at 4, and he's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any control options at 4.
I sort of look at him, and as someone who's played Avengers a lot, I know they're not the same, but I think Iron Man, just this guy who has tech, can't hit all that hard, could hit that hard, and basically his one shtick is that he's kind of difficult to deal with.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
unfortunately, at the moment, I don't think that's enough.
No, you're right. You're right. He's just. I think you can kind of ignore him, and it's not going to be hugely detrimental.
Yeah.
In that demo game, though, I actually did. I can't remember what he did. He did a lot. He helped Spider-Man take out Doc Ock, and then he punched Crossbones into oblivion, like dazed him anyway. And then I think he also took out Captain America, or dazed Captain America. So he did get a lot done in the demo game, which is beyond that. I just think he's lacking a little bit.
Yeah. But he is one of those characters that I wouldn't be surprised that just like a really good player is like, oh, Ultron's like my favorite character, and I do work with him every game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Where you're just like a top tier player's like, yeah, Ultron's my favorite. I just play him all the time, and no one else can make it work, but they just can.
I do like his analyze and annihilate is quite good.
Yeah. For
like if someone spikes their defense roll, it's just like okay, well, I'll spend 2 power and just get a load more dice. But we'll come to that in a minute. Right? So well, we won't come to it because we're not going to talk. This is the only time we're talking about Ultron. I lied. This is our only talk about Ultron. He is probably the worst character in the affiliation currently.
Oh, I like that spicy take. That's a nice take.
But the trouble is, right, and like he might get better if he's put somewhere else, but he doesn't have anywhere else to go.
It's a problem.
And it's like no one's going to take him unaffiliated in anything. Like,
you're right. You just don't see him. Like, that is the thing. Like, you just don't see him.
I don't think I've ever played a game online where
outside of the start
from
set.
The start of apart from that one demo game where I used him, where he's gone like, oh, I'm using Ultron. I'm like, oh my god. I think I'll just concede at that point. I'll be like, right,
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
You're obviously so good that I don't know, I can't beat you. I'm just conceding now.
You see, that is the level I'm talking about as well.
Yeah.
Where it's just like they're just playing it on like a completely different axis to what we're playing it on.
Yeah, and it's just like, do you know what? You obviously know this game way better than I do. I concede. Haven't even rolled initiative. I've seen Ultron. I'm conceding.
We should look at Red Skull though.
Let's look at the leader, the boss man, because he's obviously at the moment for Cabal. If you want to play Cabal, he's a must take. You'll see in both of my lists.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think Red Skull's good.
Red Skull's solid, and I really enjoyed playing it. Again, going back to the demo, I really enjoyed playing him.
That's cool.
And I forgot how much I really enjoy Red Skull. Except how many skulls I rolled on his freaking ability, because the first one, I will get to it. I'll tell you, man. So Red Skull is a 4-threat leader, which is always nice. I quite like a 4-threat leader. He's not 5. He's not taking up too much threat.
Yeah.
He gives you that extra threat for like another big character. He's not 3, so you know he can dish out some pain, or he's got some uses. So he is 6 health on his healthy side. He's a medium mover, height of 2, 4 threat. His defense is a 4-3-3, which is a little bit lower than a 4 threat normally is, but that's okay.
We're fine with that.
He has a generic strike, range 2, 5 dice, no power, gain power equal to damage dealt. Nicely though, on a wild you do get a push.
That's good.
Just a short push. He then has a 1 power energy attack, which is a cosmic blast. It's range 4, 5 dice again, and on a wild it has sap power, which is very nice. So every wild rolled, target character loses the power and you gain it. And that's before the damage is dealt, so you can drain their power before giving them some more, potentially.
Sounds good.
And his final attack is again energy. It's 4 power, so not too expensive. in the sort of higher range for a spender.
In the grand scheme of ultimates, it's not that.
It's not 4 power, 3 or 4 power. Is the usual spender attacks.
Yeah.
It's range 4 again. It's 7 dice, which is nice. And if this attack deals damage after it's resolved, the character may throw the target character short. So it's got a built-in throw. You need to deal damage.
I was about to say it's not.
It's not a wild.
It's not a wild. Yeah, it's not a specific throw. And on 7 dice, you're looking good.
Usually, unless you're me, you're usually going to deal 1 damage. And on a wild, it has reality warp. After this attack is resolved, the target characters and characters in range 1 of him gain the stun special condition. And this character is never affected by reality warp. So you can hit your own characters, so do be careful if you do throw them.
Yep.
That you don't throw them into your own characters, unless you just don't care. You might not.
I mean, if you got a character that's immune to stun, maybe don't care.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice if you can get a throw into a couple of enemies, or at least close.
Yeah.
Then that's definitely a really nice. I don't really see it used all that often, because he's generally using his power on other things.
Yeah, as we'll see in a minute.
But
that's actually a really nice spender, actually.
I like it. It is a good spender. So we'll come back to his leadership ability at the end. His first special ability is a free one.
I like it already.
Cosmic Cube. It does cost an action, which, you're like, do I really want to use it? Yes.
You do.
Yes, you do. This character gains 3 power for free. Well, we'll see that in a minute. He basically gains 3 power. He does gain 3 power for free. You're not spending any power.
True.
You're gaining 3.
True.
There is a downside. He is drawing on his Cosmic Cube.
Yeah.
Not the Tesseract. For MCU watchers, this isn't the Tesseract.
Yeah, we'll find out he is not a gem bearer.
This is the Cosmic Cube. It was created.
He cannot use the Mind Stone.
No. Well, he might be able to. I don't think he's ever had it in his possession in the comics.
No. That's what I mean.
So, however, if you choose to use this action, and this is where I made the mistake of using it. Roll 5 dice, and as soon as dice are involved, I shouldn't be using this.
Not worth it.
For each skull rolled, you take a damage.
And how much health did you have when you chose to do this?
Well, I had 6. So it's turn one,
okay.
Right? I rolled 3 skulls.
Nice.
On 5 dice. So luckily, we're playing the heal one, the one where you can spend interact to heal one.
Yeah.
So I did that. So I was like, well, okay, I'm getting 2 power because I'm going to spend 1 to heal. 2 power, 2 damage. Okay, not great. Turn 2. Did it again. But this time, I rolled 2 skulls.
Oh, you're up now.
But I'm still spending 1 to heal again. So I took 5 damage to gain 6 power in total, but then I spent 2 power to heal 2. So it's still worth it, because when I played against Red Skull in the league, he literally spent 4 turns doing this and didn't roll a single skull.
Yeah.
Which is against the odds there. But
yeah, statistically improbable, but
once you get to 2, you should have at least rolled it once.
Yeah. I just think any ability in a card that just says gain power, like this is wicked.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. And Red Skull is more of a backfield character.
Yeah, and because he has stuff he wants to be spending power on, and you don't really want him to get hit because, like you say, he's sitting at the back and he's sort of he's a very controlly piece, as we'll see with the other 2 sort of superpowers that he's got. But yeah, I think this is a wicked power.
Yeah, no, it's good, especially because then it sets up this.
Yeah. Master
of the Cube. He's very cube based. He's not a fan of round.
No.
So Master of the Cube. Choose this is 3 power. Choose this character or another allied character within 4, so decent range on this.
Oh yeah. And
place that character within 2 of its current position. Not a small move if you're moving someone like MODOK.
Oh yeah.
A character can be placed by the superpower only once per turn, so you can use this more than once per turn. You just can't target the same person. So you could do it 3 times a turn if you had, full power.
Well, you could do it more if you did it twice
If you've already, I was
power.
gonna say, if you've already got full power as well, you could do it twice.
Gain power.
You could do it three times.
3 times.
Cosmic
Attack.
Cube.
Oh yeah. Gain 3
then
power.
Do it again. And then in theory, attack, get some more power, and do it again. So you could actually do it 5 times a turn. I mean, all right, it's probably not going to happen, but
I don't really know who you're doing it on at that point. But
no, at this point, you're like, how far into this game are you without losing a single character? But
theoretically possible.
Theoretically, 5 times a turn.
Yeah, I think this is where that control-y thing that I was talking about is really coming in. The ability to just, like, range 4 is huge, and like you say, like 2 is big on any base, but on a MODOK-sized base, or a Magneto-sized base, we're looking...
Especially those getting those slow characters, that little bit of extra movement, Crossbones.
Absolutely. Crossbones as well, yeah.
And this was the only real way to move Crossbones that a bit extra, like early on.
Yeah, it was.
Actually, I lied. There is another card, but we're going to get to that. His final superpower is, you might think that Red Skull defense is 4-3-3. Yeah, they're okay. Not great. And he's got 6 health, which is solid. 6 health, both sides actually.
Yeah.
That. He doesn't change. He doesn't change on his injured side, I don't believe.
I don't think any of his
believe he was just a straight flip.
Yeah.
Now he has a reactive superpower called Hail Hydra.
Of course, both hands.
Both arms. The other one. This is incorrect.
Yeah.
It's fine. He was a Nazi before he was in Hydra. We'll get to that. Now, when this character is targeted by an attack, it may use the superpower. Choose another allied character within 2 who becomes the new target of the attack, regardless of range or line of sight.
I love it.
So
like Captain America, this bastion of heroism and taking one for the team.
Yeah.
And Red Skull's like, nah. Lackey, get over here.
Yeah. See, this is where they differ, and it's so good. It's 2 power.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Bodyguard, funnily enough. It's just the complete opposite, where Cap's just like, I got this, don't worry, and Red Skull's like, you get in my way.
I think it's a brilliant. It's another really good. The whole regardless of range and line of sight, that's the big one for me. Like,
yes, because you can throw it to someone that's might be hiding, just not necessarily hiding, just behind a building or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's really good.
It's useful, and you don't want to lose Red Skull. So
the reason you don't want to lose him
is because of his leadership ability. And this is a very good reason to take Cabal.
Yeah.
The leadership ability for Cabal currently is Master of Evil. Oh, yeah. Each time an allied character damages an enemy character with an attack, after the attack is resolved, that character gains a power.
Yep.
There's no limit. You can attack twice a turn. That's 2 extra power as long as you do a damage.
Beams.
Use the beam attack and hit 17 different characters. That's 17 power. You cap out at 10.
Also, I don't know how you're hitting 17 people, to be fair.
Big game.
Big game. Okay.
Big game. They just
like it.
Right up.
Yep.
I don't think actually you could get 17 bases under even the range 5 template, but
that's beside the point, Matt.
I was going to say 7, and then I just said 17. I think 7's pretty much like the maximum.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
I like it. No, this affiliation, this leadership ability is the thing that makes me go, not the thing that makes me go, because that was, I think, off a Sky One program when we were little. But it makes me go, I think the Cabal are something I would like to look at, because I think when you looked at your leadership breakdowns a couple of weeks ago, when we talked about it, because we generally thought any leadership ability that was like, you get power, is a super good leadership ability. Yeah. And this one just gets power willy-nilly, like for doing things that you're going to be doing in the game, and a lot of the time already get power for.
Absolutely. It's extra
power. Yeah. I think it's great, and I think Red Skull in general for 4 power is this super duper control piece with, nothing to, his attacks aren't anything to shake a hairy stick at. They're pretty good. They're not the pièce de résistance. They're not like going to be taking people out left, right, and centre, but they can take people out for sure. He's got really good movement shenanigans. He's gonna stick around, and then his leadership ability just makes you think, all right, well, how can I break this, and how can I generate as much power as possible? I think
Absolutely.
I think so.
So I think that's all to say about Red Skull at the moment. He's a solid 4-threat character, a good leader, has elements of control, can dish out some damage if needed, and can just ignore attacks coming at him. Which you want your leaders on. If you're playing a roster, you normally want your leaders around for at least till mid game. Maybe preferably late game, obviously.
I think this is one of the leaders where you're just like, actually.
And I think you're just like, do you know what? Having Crossbones near him, Crossbones can reduce damage as well, and it's just like, take it.
We're looking at 7 points there, but that's fine.
Yeah, but
in some matchups,
you can move these guys forward then, and then if you need to, you can just teleport Crossbones into an enemy, and just be like, go punch him. So,
I like it. I like it.
So the next 3 characters, I'm just gonna say we're not going to talk about too much because there will be a specific episode coming later along the line, and that is nice, obviously the X-Men. Well, sorry, the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood of evil mutants.
Yes. So they'll be obviously in their own episode. So in the roster, the affiliation list, you've got Magneto, Mystique, and Sabretooth. No Toad, unfortunately. He's not really evil enough to be in the Cabal. No.
I was very pleasantly surprised when they added those 3 to. I had a sneaky suspicion Mystique was going to be, but having Sabretooth and Magneto on there was nice. Was very nice.
I was a little bit shocked, but at the same time, it fleshes out the roster a bit, gives you the option of those
dual affiliation rosters and stuff like that. But cool. We'll move on. We'll address them at some point. You'll do your own Brotherhood breakdown at some point.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm hoping there'll be some characters by the time we get to it. I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I think by the time we get to it, they definitely will be out.
Yeah.
So the next 2 we'll talk about briefly in terms of Cabal, but again, they have their own faction, which will actually be the next one.
Yep.
Probably. Which is Loki and Enchantress.
Yeah.
Now we do have to talk about them because these 2
pop up.
I mean, Loki really is the only actual Cabal member we've had so far, apart from Red Skull. Like, if you look at comic book Cabal, it's very, very different to what AMG.
I'll move on to that.
We'll get to that in the actual lore side of it later. But
I guess technically Green Goblin because he's Norman Osborn, but that's
is he in Cabal?
Yeah, he's not in the game Cabal. But
I was going to say that's what I mean.
Yeah. Sorry, in the comic books.
I was going to say what?
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
So I'm pretty sure I didn't read his name out. I didn't get his card out. I just realised I didn't get Kingpin's card out either. So Loki and Enchantress are the 2 Asgardian characters that aren't. I was going to say aren't Asgardian. Obviously, they're Asgardian, but
aren't good guys.
They aren't good guys, and they aren't punchy.
Yeah, that's very true. Because once you take them out, the other guys are all hitty, aren't they?
You've got Valkyrie, you've got Thor, you've got Angela, sorry, they're the punchy Asgardians, and then you've got these 2 who one aren't good guys. Enchantress sometimes she's more out for herself.
Loki's been a good guy in the past.
Yeah, they're both morally flexible.
Yeah.
I would say they both look out for themselves first before others. Yeah. I think that's probably a good way of putting it. They're both 4 threat, which you expect from Asgard. They tend to be the higher end, more expensive characters.
Yep.
Or should be 4 threat. Looking at you, Valkyrie. I don't know if she should be 4, but
we'll address that next.
Yeah, that's a later issue. They bring to the table some very controlly elements.
Especially, I mean, both. I was going to say especially Loki because he can take the mind gem, but actually, Enchantress is, for me at the moment, the best character to have come out in the last handful of sets, and possibly the best character to have come out in general.
That's a huge statement. I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
Because I think
there's an argument that could be made. Yeah.
In the right hands, she is horrible. Yeah. Utterly horrible. Yeah. She is not the game you put on the not the character you put in the game if you're teaching someone in neither of these characters.
I was about to say,
you're teaching someone and they're like, oh yeah, use whatever you want. Do not put these two characters down because they won't play the game again.
Could you just imagine being like, I am a god trickstering, like god of mischiefing, and then just dragging siren calling and stealing objectives?
Like, oh, so you won turn 2. Yeah, good. I'm not playing this game again with you.
What even is this game?
Like, this game sucks. Yeah. It could be horrible for your opponent. I won't jump into too much, but they are very, very. We'll talk about it a bit more when we get to the lists because they do appear in the list that we've done. Yeah. So we won't talk about them too much right now, but we will get to them in a second.
Cool. Happy with that.
Then we've got the Criminal Syndicate side of the Cabal as well. Yep. So a couple of characters from the Criminal Syndicate cross into this, and that is Kingpin, another leader. So we've now got 3 leaders technically 4 leaders in this affiliation because you've got Mystique, Magneto, Red Skull, and now Kingpin.
Yep.
Again, like I said, this affiliation gives you a lot of cross compatibility with other affiliations because the leaders are in it.
Yeah.
And you also got Bullseye as well. Who's a nice 3 threat, and Bullseye's always got work done for me.
You've had really good, and I think what's kind of good with him in Cabal is the fact that he's got rapid fire, so like you can
extra power. He could, in theory, on his spender attack. In fact,
exactly. That's what I mean.
Like you're spending 4 power. If you at least do 1 damage, so it'd be 8. Well, it'd be 8 power, but if you do that twice, you can get 4 of that power back.
Yeah.
Or if you've got like say 6 power, you use the spender, you do damage on each attack, you're getting that 4 power to do it again.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah. I think Bullseye's a tricky character because he doesn't get a lot of love, but I think you've got work done with him, and I think maybe because I've seen you get work done with him.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more like, you know what? People should be cutting him some slack because
I just think he's got a lot of benefits. Like I think 3 threat. He's a tricky one at 3 threat because there are so many good 3 threat characters, and that is I think the biggest number of characters are 3 threat. Yeah, correct. So I think I can see him blending into the crowd, but I think in affiliation, in Cabal, and in Criminal Syndicate, he shines. I think it's when he's out of, like, if someone's sort of looking at 3 threat characters to put in somewhere else, that's where you're like,
you just don't. Yeah.
You're struggling then to see his value. But you can definitely see him in Cabal, and
Criminal
Syndicate, because Criminal Syndicate's great.
Mm-hmm.
Kingpin, he's just he's a solid tank. I see less use of him in Cabal. Not that he's bad in Cabal, and I think you would could include him in the roster if you wanted to like dual Criminal Syndicate and Cabal.
I mean,
but don't see.
He has a beam attack as well.
He does have a beam attack. He does.
His cane laser. It's only a beam 3, but you can still get
3 brain and 4 dice, but it is free.
It is free, and so if you can get two power out of that, thanks to it, that's fine because you only. Hail to the King is 3 power. Like his spender, considering how good it is only 3 power. So you don't. I think if you can get guaranteed power, because like his headbutt, while it's good and probably will be doing damage, so you can gain power. At least in Cabal, if you're cane lasering 2 or 3 people, you're guaranteeing X amount of power as opposed to.
Well, as long as you do damage.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is only 4 dice. So you should. Yeah, it depends what you're going up against.
Yeah.
Like Captain Marvel, probably going to ignore that.
Yeah.
So then we come to our 3 sort of punchy characters. I'm going to give them the title 3 punchy characters, and then we'll get to the last one, who's just doesn't really need too much talking about. But so the 3 punchy characters we got are Crossbones, Zemo, and Killmonger.
My favorite out of those, Zemo.
Zemo.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think that's because he falls into that 3-threat category. He can do a lot of stuff, or he gives you, so straight away, he gives you a range 2 bubble of rerolls in attack and defense.
Yeah.
Any attack or defense roll, if you're within 2 of Zemo, you're going to reroll one of those dice.
Love it.
Great. That's great. He's fast.
A long mover.
He's a long mover. He's only got 10 health, 5 and 5.
But he's only 3 costs, so he's only 3.
His defense is slightly better than a normal 3 cost. He's got 3 physical, 3 mental, and 4. 3 physical, 3 energy, 4 mental.
Mm-hmm.
His strike can cause bleed.
Yep.
On a wild.
Yep.
His steel rush is great. His spender attack is only 2 power.
Yep.
It's 6 dice, which is okay, not great, but it's only 2 power.
Yeah.
He gets to medium move after the attack. Medium move, so he can move long. Well, it gets better in a second. He can move long, attack, and then get another medium move. That's like
steel rush is just like for 2 power. Yeah, exactly. For 2 power, you're basically adding an extra dice, an extra range, and that movement.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's range 3 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's range 3.
Yeah.
And the jump and the difference between range 1 to 2 is so much greater than the difference between 2 and 3. Like range 3 is good. It's really good.
Definitely. So, and he's got 4 good superpowers. Well, one of them we talked about already, the rerolls.
Yeah.
Strategic Genius. Then you have Charge for 2 power. So this is like a kind of like a double action. You basically get to it costs an action, but it's a double action because you get to move and then make an attack action. Doesn't have to be his free attack action. Oh no. For 4 power, you can move, attack, and medium move for 1 action.
1 action. Yep.
So you've still got something else to do afterwards, which is phenomenal.
You could do it all again if you so wish.
If you have the power, you can do it again. Oh no, you can't. You can't charge again.
Oh, because you can only charge once.
You can only charge once. But you could certainly steel rush again and get another medium move.
Yeah, that's an inordinate amount of.
So you could double long move and then attack medium move, or you could long move, medium move, attack, and get another medium. So he's so fast, he can get around the board really quickly.
And he does do that. He does get around.
He is very good at that. He has a Counter-Strike reactive ability. After an attack against this character is resolved, 2 power. You may use the superpower. If the attacker is within 3, roll 4 dice, deal 1 damage for each crit and wild rolled. Now, I'm not a fan of these abilities. There's quite a few of them in the game. Yeah. There's some tactics cards. There's some on the actual, Counter-Strike or
like this.
Yeah. There's a few around. I just don't think they're consistent enough for 2 power. If maybe if I've got 2 power and my opponent is on 1 health, or maybe 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna maybe just do it and hope I get that one damage to daze them or whatever. Generally, though, that isn't going to be used. I just don't think you've got a wild or a crit, so that's 2 sides on an 8-sided dice, 25% chance per dice.
Yeah,
it's 4 dice. In theory, you should get one.
You should deal a damage. That's the way.
25%. It is 25%. Yeah, it is 25%.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so in theory, you should get 1 damage out of it. In theory. But it's dice, so and it's not guaranteed. It's not that the maths doesn't work out like that. It would be lower than that. But his next is also reactive superpower. It's Master Swordsman. Again, it's 2 power, so he's quite power hungry. Charge 2, Counter Strike 2. You're not using that anyway. Master Swordsman 2. When this I can't even say this. I can't even talk anymore. When it is a target of a physical attack or targets a character with a physical attack, both of his attacks are physical.
Yeah.
This character may use this superpower. If the enemy character is within 2, this character may reroll any number of its attack or defense dice. So it goes from rerolling 1 to any, and that's huge.
That's big. That's really big. I think that's great.
If you really want to get that damage through, or you just want to try and block something, I don't know whether I would use this more on defense or offense.
It's situational. I think I would be aiming to use it more on offense, but mainly because if the best defense is a good offense, I think when you're looking at a character like Zemo, if you pick a flank where there's like 1 or 2 characters, your goal is to just be like, I'm dicing and slicing and just killing those 2 characters.
Absolutely.
I think. But yeah, I think this is better than Counter-Strike if you're saving your 2 power for something. Like
I think so too.
It's more flexible and it's
probably more consistent as well. If you want to deal some more damage.
Yeah, I agree. And
it just gives you that backup of not, if you really fluff that roll, as long as there's not too many skulls in there.
That's the big thing, isn't it? Like it is skull
dependent. Now you do it when you target the character, so you can't choose to do it after you've rolled. So
you could spend the 2 power and be, it was just like, oh sweet, I got to roll one of those
anyway,
dice.
Yeah, whatever.
Or I got to roll 1 dice, which I could do already. So
it happens.
It happens. Jinx.
Yeah. You child. So then we've got Crossbones. Now, he is a 3-threat character, which is nice. I should say Zemo doesn't change on his injured side either.
Yeah.
I think all the start set characters don't really change on their
No, Crossbones loses a power.
Right.
Loses
health, yeah.
And there are characters like Iron Man which get like an extra attack and
they don't change there's nothing that changes too crazily, yeah.
There's no Green Goblin style changes in that set, which is nice.
Or MODOK style changes, which we'll get to.
Yep.
So Crossbones is 6 health, which is solid for a 3-threat.
Yep.
He's only a short mover, and this is why he didn't get a lot of love early on.
And it's not the short move, it's the short move plus small base.
Yeah. And I kept thinking, for some reason in my head, for ages, I thought Crossbones was on a medium-sized base.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And then I was like, oh, he's not. He's just on a normal base. Like it cuts.
Like the medium-sized base is big.
It's basically a range. It's like almost like an extra range 1.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Which isn't a lot, but when you're actually moving the characters, if you this is what I would suggest for anyone that's like learning the game is get a base of each size, put it on the edge of your playing area, and like just measure range, like measure a short move for each of them, measure a long move for each of them to get used to the ranges, and you'll see how much of a difference that makes when you're actually placing the base size. Because they're moving the same distance, but when you see how much the base size makes the difference, it's the difference between being in range of an attack or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially on those much bigger bases, like the large bases. I'm still wondering if we're going to see another size up from what we've got currently on some of the models that might be coming out.
Galactus.
Yeah, he's just going to be a foot on the table.
Yeah.
Like Pat, take your shoe off and just paint it
purple. Yep, I like it. So tell me about Crossbones.
Crossbones. So straight off the bat, he looks like a slightly boring card. There's not too much on there.
Yeah, it looks plain, doesn't it? Like it's
it's not a lot.
Half the card isn't
massive,
filled. Yeah.
Massive space here. But he's got his basic strike.
Yeah.
Oh, his defenses. I forgot his defenses. His defenses are 4 for physical, 2/2. And so he averages out for a 3-threat, but no, he doesn't. He's one less than most 3-threats.
He's one less than a 3-threat as well.
But it's fine because he's going to be punching stuff.
We'll get onto his abilities that will help with that.
Yeah. So his spender attack. So his builder is just a basic strike, nothing special, no wilds.
Yeah. Range 2, 5
range
damage.
2, 5.
5 dice.
3.
Gain the power.
Yeah. And then he has overpower. Which is range 3. So a bit like Zemo, he gets the extra range on his spender. It's also only 2.
Yep.
Is still 5 dice.
5 dice.
Yeah. After this attack is resolved, though, place this character within range 1. So, okay.
You can leapfrog the character, which is nice.
I can leap him forward a little bit, get him up close, personal, maybe get a strike off, or, whatever. And on a wild, he also gets to throw.
Yeah.
Now, this is important. Because if you can throw, if you get the throw on the wild, you can actually throw your opponent a bit further away and then move Crossbones further because the throw happens before the damage is dealt and the movement happens once the attack's resolved. So that's much bigger and more important. Now, depending on where they are on the table, you might not want to do that, but That makes his short movement a little bit less.
Well, it was always the thing with Crossbones. It was like, actually, once he gets in, he's absolutely fine. Like, once he gets in, he has no problems from there on in.
Agreed.
Because of another superpower we'll see in a minute, and like you say, the overpower spender. It was always just getting him in, and I think we now have enough ways to do it this now.
Normally, you'd be like, turn 1, you're moving twice. Turn 2, you're still moving once.
Moving, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a punchy character. You don't want him just. You need to get to get the 3 threat back off of him. You need to be punching stuff.
Yeah.
You don't really want him as your backfield objective sitter. There's many characters that are better for that. Yeah. His first superpower, he has three powers. His first one is great. It's expensive.
It's
expensive. It's expensive, but it's good. So I'll sort of say in a minute. So it's 4 power, but he's not spending a lot of power anywhere else.
No, I agree.
The next strike or overpower attack made by this character adds 3 dice to its attack roll.
Yeah. 3 for 4 is good.
Yeah, because most added additions, and I'm putting my foot in it probably, but most additions are 3 dice for 2. 3 power for 2 dice.
3 power for 2 dice, yeah.
I think most of the ones we've seen are 3 power for 2 dice.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously like cards that are different, like She-Hulk, which adds dice equal to
whatever it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, size.
And there's like a set cost. But yeah, I think you are right. I think that sounds right. This is basically, I think what we're saying is, regardless, this is actually a good rate.
Yes, like, I think -1 dice for 1 extra power, basically.
It's just a big investment.
Yeah, and 4 power is like, okay. But if you want to just knock someone out, or if you really want to get that wild on the throw, for example, for overpower, that takes up to an 8 dice attack, which is solid. And there's there are other,
for a reason.
There are other ways in game to get more dice. Hammers, looking at you.
Yeah.
Crossbones with a couple hammers would be horrible.
Yeah, I mean he is, because he is a beat stick. But yeah, that's cool.
His next power gives him a little bit more survivability. It's inured to pain. Reactive superpower, costs 1. It's okay.
This is fine.
If this character would suffer damage, it may use his superpower. Reduce the amount of damage suffered by 1.
Yep. I like that.
Important point. It's not to a minimum of 1.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also not on attacks or anything like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't say enemy effects either.
No, oh my god, yeah, you're right.
So, there's a lot of use for that.
There are a lot of uses for that. You're correct. It's interesting because I think it's one of the few characters that doesn't have the minimum to 1 clause.
Yeah, I think Thanos is the other one.
Yeah, because Kingpin
is minimum of 1. Yeah.
Minimum of 1, and then all the other Black Order ones are to a minimum of 1 as well. Yeah. So this is good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
And if you're up against physical attacks, there is a very real chance with your 4 defense dice you might only be taking 1 or 2 damage. So.
Or if he gets thrown into someone or something, it's like, I'm going to ignore that 1 damage actually.
I don't need to take that 1 damage. Correct. Yeah. I like that.
And
the last ability is wicked as well.
Is an always-on ability, and we've seen this on a couple of characters. Now, he was definitely the first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And you know what? Again, going back to the start set, I was looking at it like, this seems bad. Like, not bad, just like, I was like, he's so slow. And then actually, you look into it, you're like, okay, actually, overpower, he's got to move. Then you've got aggressive, which is his last superpower. After an attack target in this character is resolved, if he took damage, so you might not want to spend that 1 power to reduce the damage if you only took 1, it may advance short towards the target of the attacking character.
He can only move short anyway, so this is just a free short if he was hit. Yeah. There's no range requirement. It doesn't have to be on a X range attack. No, it's good.
It's like, you hit me at range 5, just going to start moving up the board towards you.
Yeah, agreed. I think, and the only difference is he goes to 5. Yeah,
loses 1 in health on his injured side, but he's still angry. He still punches.
Yeah,
happy with that. I like him. I
You're playing him more often now, aren't you? Like,
he's creeping into my role. I'm not playing him so much still, but he is in my rosters
because you've been playing Criminal Syndicate a lot.
Because I've been playing Criminal Syndicate, and he's a solid character for them, I think.
Yeah.
And if I start playing Cabal, he'll definitely be in. I think he'll sneak in there as well.
Yeah, I think I think all he needed was X amount of movement shenanigans.
Yeah,
and
we'll see that
now.
coming into the lists.
And last one is the Killmonger.
So last one before the last one is Killmonger. Now again, we'll talk about him in Wakanda. Killmonger does Killmonger things.
Sometimes.
He's also got charged like Zemo.
Yeah.
So
he's a 4 threat, 6 health.
He's a 4 threat, 6 health, 6/5 health.
Yeah.
4/3/3 on his defenses.
Yeah.
He's got an energy attack. He's got a close combat attack.
He's got an energy builder, which is good actually.
He's got an energy builder, which is actually
with Pierce.
With Pierce, which energy defense is, as people know, the lowest one around. So, he's got physical spender, which is good, 7 dice. If he does manage to attack the same character twice in a round, he gets more dice. He gets 2 extra dice. So he's like the opposite of Taskmaster, who Taskmaster gets more dice in his defense rolls if he gets targeted twice.
You look at Killmonger's card and he should kill things, but Matt, sometimes with 12 dice, you just don't. And we'll move on to MODOK.
Yeah. Now, a character that I've had much success with. I don't think anyone hasn't, have they?
No.
MODOK is MODOK. Like, he just does MODOK things. Oh my god, yes. The model's so good.
Yeah.
MODOK, it was our first mental attack in the game.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. Didn't think about that. No, I think you are right.
No, he 100% was, because him and Hulk came out straight away, didn't they? And he was the only one with the mental attack.
Yeah.
And it's a good mental attack, and it has sap power. So, like.
But Matt, what does MODOK stand for?
Oh no. I do know. He's a. Is it machine or?
No.
Mental organism designed only for killing.
Or mechanized. He is
mechanized. Yeah, it flips between the two.
He is sometimes mechanized. But man, this character is so annoying.
He came out. Everyone was like, "Who the hell is this? What is this? And why do I want it?" Obviously, you want it because the model's amazing. Secondly, if you don't know who MODOK is, go read a bunch of comics on MODOK because oh my god, he's so good.
I mean, for me, it was the Avengers TV program, like the animated Avengers TV show. That I was like, oh, okay, I know who MODOK is now.
I can't remember where I was first introduced to MODOK, but I know I just went out and read a load of stuff with him in, and he's just so stupid that I love it.
And then if you still don't love him after that, you read his card and you're like, oh, okay, he's broken. That's fine.
And then you realise. So he is our first 5-threat character.
Yes, he was our first 5-threat.
He's Hulk 6, so he was our first 5-threat character.
Mm-hmm.
He has 10 health.
Yeah, he's size 4 as well, which
he's also size 4. So he's a big boy. He's on a massive base. He only has a small move,
but he's got a massive base. So.
Got a massive base, which helps. His defenses look terrible. 2-3-3, 2-3-3 for a 5-threat character. Awful, just awful. Yeah. I don't think you can ignore it because it is actually a big thing.
Yeah,
it is how you beat MODOK is you punch him in the face, and he's got a large face to punch. He is just a face. His mental builder is range 4.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to get close.
No. Absolutely.
It's 6 dice.
Yeah. Stop.
It gains power equal to damage dealt, but that's not all. Because on wilds, he saps power, which, as we've already discussed, takes power away from the targeted model and adds it to MODOK before damage is dealt. Yeah. So you pick a character with a couple of power, hope you roll a couple of wilds, and just be like, I'll be having that, thank you.
That's all mine now.
Because I need to do my next attack next.
Which is?
Doomsday Chair.
No.
It's a physical. It's range 4 again. It's 7 dice. It costs 3, which is, a little bit expensive, but it should be cheaper. I'm joking. Before Pat goes mental.
I was about to flip the table.
Before Pat literally disconnects his call and goes absolutely mental. I am joking. That's it. That's all it does. It's 4 dice, 7. Sorry, 7 dice, 4 range 4, 3 power. I'm joking. On a wild, it causes bleed.
Tell me the other thing.
Doesn't seem that good, does it? Oh wait, there's something else here. There's this big block of text.
Yeah.
Whirling Blades.
Yeah.
After this attack is resolved, this character may make an additional Doomsday Chair attack without paying the cost. And this attack must target another character within range 2 of the original target. Huh. I can hit 2 people with a 7 dice attack.
Cost. Range
14
4.
dice.
7 dice across 2 characters that you can hit 2 characters with.
Yeah.
And it has bleed. Why? I don't care that you're 5 threat, because we're going to move on to his 4 superpowers.
He's got no superpowers. It's fine. It's fine.
He's got
okay, so I did
10 health. He has 10 health.
It took me a while to learn. Not learn. This was picked up actually, I think more recently. But Whirling Blades, now it is important to note that the second target does have to be within range 4 of MODOK.
Yeah.
They have to be within range 2 of the original target, but also still have to be in range of the attack. Now I didn't realise this straight away. It's not like Captain America's shield where he kind of ricochets it around the table and then it comes back to him. This does have to still be within range of MODOK, and that was pointed out to me slightly more recently. So if I've ever done it against Pat, where I've been like, it's just really range 2, I do apologise. I don't think it probably hasn't been a huge deal. No. But there was
not a game. Yeah, there wasn't a game that immediately stood out to me when you said that.
I don't think we played enough.
I also think I probably deleted all games where I've been MODOK'd.
Now I have been MODOK'd and I don't like it. So
that's why I then bought the model.
Yeah, and I'm not using it anymore. I refuse to play anyone that does use it. I love MODOK. I will continue using MODOK just because he's so cool.
Tell me about these superpowers, Matt. Tell me about
well, firstly, you're going to bow to the will of MODOK.
I probably will.
It's 2 power.
Yeah. Why?
Choose an enemy within range 3. A bit closer than he likes to get, but it's okay.
They're not getting close to him anymore.
No, they're not, because you're going to advance that character small. For 2 power, and you can use it more than once per turn. It's just can't target the same character twice.
But what I hear is you're moving
away. Yeah, or off that objective that you're stood on. Yeah, 100%. And you can just do it 5 times a turn if you have the power. Just different characters. Okay, I'll do that.
You are an imbecile, Matt.
All the world is a weapon to MODOK! For 2 power, he can throw a size 3 piece of terrain within 3. Throw it long. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's only 2 power. It's such a cheap throw. I don't know why it's only 2 power for.
Because it only does terrain.
But it is size 3 and long. I still think it should be 3 power.
3 power. I agree. But I think the reason it is cheap is because
you are right. You're right. P Brain, MODOK's genius is infinite. Yeah, that's right.
It is.
It's a reactive power. After this character rolls attack or defense dice, spend power to use this superpower. For each power spent, you may re-roll 1 of the dice.
Attack or defense.
And after you've
rolled
or defense. And after you don't have to like commit to this. You can just be like, I'm just gonna re-roll some of these. So that is nice. Now his most important one, and he only gets this on his healthy side.
Yeah, that is big. Like, that is so big, the fact that you only get it on his healthy side.
Yeah. But I have had this literally eliminate damage from attacks.
Yeah. There was definitely a roll where I was like, there's 4 hits. Oh, wait, they're 4 wilds. Oh, God.
Yeah. I haven't read it out yet. It's his psionic force field. When defending against an attack, this character changes wild results in the attack roll to blanks.
Yeah.
Now, there is important because I'm pretty sure some characters count blanks in their attack rolls.
Yeah, they count blanks as successes.
So,
I think Panther has.
That's defense.
That's defense. There are.
Maybe not actually. Maybe there isn't.
I think there are.
There's definitely ones that count defense as blanks, like martial artists and stuff. Mm-hmm. Is there any that count blanks in the attack roll as successes?
I'm ill tired, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Now, when MODOK flips to his other side, this is where things change. You get 1 more turn with him, basically. If that. If you've got initiative, you get 1 more turn with him. If not, you can guarantee your opponent's about to punch him again. He only has 4 health on his injured side, and he loses his wild defense. He dies. Literally, I can guarantee once they flipped him, he gets the next punch in the face. If you don't have it,
because
initiative.
everything else is the same.
And if you do have initiative, you probably want to use MODOK because he will be dying. Unless you have something very, very specific that you want to do, maybe just use MODOK as a distraction.
I mean, if MODOK's flipped, he probably has a lot of energy, so you can do the P-Brain thing to try and keep him alive a little bit more.
Potentially.
I think you use P-Brain, it is potentially, but I think that is a way that you can keep him alive, because like you say, you do that after the defense rolls, so if you're like, oh Christ, I'm dead, and I've got X amount of power, I'm just going to spend it all now to re-roll everything, because if I don't, gonna lose them. But yeah, I think MODOK is a really interesting character, and I still don't think we've seen a character quite like it, where they are so front loaded. Like, we've had characters that are front loaded, but this character is almost like She-Hulk and Hulk, but has a turn, can survive that one.
It's quite rare for MODOK to be flipped. I find in a game, unless people are fully concentrating on him, in which case they're not doing other things, which I'm fine with.
It's really difficult, as someone who's faced MODOK a lot, I still don't think I've come up with the perfect plan, because you're exactly right. I can take him down, but it might take 3 characters to do that, in which case I'm not winning the objectives. And if you're a clever player like yourself, where but you know how to play MODOK, and you're going to force certain scenarios where I'm like, sweet, fine, I'll just play on scenario and try and ignore MODOK. Funnily enough, you can't, because you've made it so I can't ignore him. It's very difficult.
And getting Red Skull's ability of being able to just jump him that forward a little bit is with the large base is really big.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're going to take a look at a couple of lists now that we made.
Right down, I like that. Well, did you want me to look at some tactics cards? I'll do that beforehand.
I think just because of time,
we're
going to jump into the list. We're going to talk about some tactics cards there.
I guess we can look at the tactics cards.
And you can bring up a couple others if there's any that you feel like.
No, I think it was quite. I basically just went for the Cabal ones only. So
cool.
And you've picked them a fair amount of time.
Cool. Right, so. Hopefully, you can now see my screen.
Oh, I can.
Wonderful.
I mean, I can. I have no idea if everyone.
I'm hoping it's recording properly this time, unlike last time, which seemed to be it did half of it and not the other half. So we have got, this is an in-affiliation list.
Yeah.
Now, I went for a punchy list, but with a bit of control in there as well.
Yeah. So this was similar to the fluffy list that I did when I did the Avengers stuff.
Absolutely. This is a bit of Cabal.
Yeah.
I even took out the options of running it as anything else.
Yeah.
This was Red Skull, Zemo, Enchantress, MODOK, Loki, the Mind Gem, just for a little bit of added fun, Killmonger, Crossbones, Sabretooth, and Bullseye. There are definitely, this is not the most competitive list at all, but it can certainly win games. Yeah, I think it's got something behind it that can win games. You probably do need to make a couple of changes, but you've got my thoughts behind it are you've got obviously Red Skull as the leader. You've got 3/3 threats in there of Zemo, Crossbones, and Bullseye. Bullseye can sit back a bit, chip away at damage, gain some extra power, hold a midfield, backfield objective comfortably. He's got hit and run if he gets in trouble. Crossbones we've already talked about. He's going to get in their faces and do some punching. And Zemo does his rerolls and support, and he's also obviously that very long mover, objective grabber, grab and go, that sort of thing. We've then got the Enchantress Loki combo, which I've obviously said don't play against newbies. They're your control elements. They're going to be moving people, taking objectives, really just annoying the hell out of your opponent. Chucked in the Mind Gem on Loki, so if you do have that spare point and you're like, oh, I don't know who to spend it on, you can chuck the Mind Gem on Loki, because we don't have a 2-threat character in this list.
Yeah.
So the Mind Gem could come in handy just to fill out a specific points roster. The Mind Gem, if you don't know what it does, it costs 2 power to act. It's 1 threat. It costs 2 power to activate. Choose an enemy character within range 3 and advance it short. So again, it's just there for the control element.
It's bow to the will of Loki.
Bow to the will of Loki, the god of mischief.
I think at 18 threat, you can play Red Skull, Enchantress, MODOK, Loki, and the Mind Gem, and just have this like, I am going to pleasantly annoy you.
I don't think there's anything pleasant about that. That would be vile, but I'd have to apologise. Like, especially if I was playing like John, for example, be like, John, you're not going to enjoy this game. I've taken a list just purely to make you quit this game.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. There are definitely there are ways to beat this kind of list, but it's just funny to think about. Because you probably wouldn't, if they had a really punchy list, you probably wouldn't survive very long. But
but I like it. You got Killmonger, Sabretooth for a bit more hitty with Crossbones.
Absolutely, I like Sabretooth. Again, Sabretooth's a long mover, can dish out some damage, can take a hit.
Has aggressive like Crossbones.
Like Crossbones for that extra movement as well. And you've obviously got MODOK doing MODOK things.
So even though this is like a fluffy list, quote unquote, it's got everything covered.
It does have stuff covered. It can hit. It can take a hit.
Yeah.
Or it can just control the board.
Yeah.
It probably wants to be playing in that sort of high mid power range of 17, 18.
Yeah.
To get the full use out of it. Not that it would struggle at the lower end, but I think you're then probably taking slightly less optimal lists.
I was about to say you're making cuts when it comes to making your list. Then, aren't you?
You're probably going to have to drop a character that's going to be important to do something. You're going to probably lose the control element, go a bit more punchy. I would say. Yeah,
I would think so. But I think let's look at the tactics.
Let's flip over to the tactics cards I chose for this. So we have aim lackeys for that bit of extra movement.
So this is a MODOK specific one, isn't it? Spend 3 power, choose an allied character.
And they get a free move.
Yeah. Basically, they get a third activation that has to be a move. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, again, Crossbones looking at you.
Yeah.
Just gets him up there quicker.
Mm-hmm.
All you've got, it's a very popular card.
It is.
Gives you an extra go, and just dazes or knocks you out at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Brace for impact. Again, the brace for impact field dressing, you can swap out for med pack or whatever. I think brace for impact.
It's whatever meta you're playing in, pick your 2 things. I think at the moment brace is almost a shoe-in. And
I don't think we're going to see brace. I think we're going to see brace in most lists.
Yeah, exactly.
It just prevents that damage from.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
Essentially giving your opponent some free damage, but for 1 power, it's just a solid card, and it's restricted for a reason because it's just too good. But not too good. It's just.
I can't agree more. Agree more.
Now we go to our first Cabal card, Cosmic Invigoration, which is a Red Skull only card, and essentially this is all you've got, but almost without the downsides.
I mean, it removes an activation token.
Yeah.
Do we have to say anything else?
Yeah, exactly. However,
it costs 2 power.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
You have to be within power.
You have to be within 2 of Red Skull,
which is fine.
Red Skull can
move. He's a medium mover. He can get places.
But the big one is obviously you roll 3 dice, isn't it?
It is 3.
Yep. And what is it? Skulls.
No, it's hits, crits, and wilds.
Hits, crits, and wilds. Yeah, so it's 50% on every dice, right?
Yeah.
That you're going to take a damage.
Which is fine. Now, it is fine because the last time when I was saying my opponent was using Red Skull and MODOK, when I got MODOK'd, he did take out his own MODOK with this card. His MODOK was sitting there on 3 health, and he rolled 3.
And the worst part is you don't get to have your activation and then take take your damage.
So he just straight up dazed his MODOK. And it wasn't that critical at this point. He basically got the game tied up. But it almost, if Sabretooth had... Well, I can't remember quite what I had to do with Sabretooth, but essentially, I think I'd already activated Sabretooth on the turn he did it. And if I hadn't, I would have been able to pick up the objective and then attack Red Skull in my next turn
Yeah.
As it was, he moved Red Skull up, grabbed the objective, moved Red Skull back. And then in my turn, I attacked Red Skull with Sabretooth. He passed it off to MODOK, who then got taken out. And then Red Skull survived, I think, with like 1 health to run away, and it won the game. It was going to be a struggle for me to pull it back at that point, but it could have happened. It was like 1 or 2 damage off of happening, unfortunately.
But it's a brilliant card, Cosmic Invigoration. I think if you're playing Cabal, because it's a Red Skull affiliated, it's a Red Skull card.
Yeah.
You're playing it in Cabal at the moment all the time. And I see no reason why it doesn't make your 5 most of the time.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always going to be getting just 1 extra activation in the game. 2 actions, on someone like MODOK, who usually will probably survive the 3 damage being taken.
Completely.
Especially
if he's on that healthy side, he's
absolutely
brilliant. Dark Reign, I like as well.
Dark Reign is a good card. I put it in there because it's Cabal only.
What is it? Any Cabal character spends 3 power.
Spends 3 power. Choose any enemy character on the table. Doesn't have to be a range. Then from then on, for that turn, round. Sorry, not turn. Round.
Yeah, let's say that round. Yeah.
Any Cabal characters attacking. May reroll any number of attack dice when attacking that character for the round. So if you've got a Hulk, a She-Hulk,
that's good.
Then that you want to get rid of, fantastic.
I mean, if you've got anything, like genuinely, if you've got a MODOK on the other side of the field.
True.
I think that's brilliant. I think brilliant. Okay, I think this is very good. I think the Cabal character caveat is a important one.
Yeah, but I think, again, like we've said, there's enough characters there that...
Absolutely. This affiliation can cover all bases pretty much. So.
They do have those punchy characters. And I think if you're then taking a punchy list, the Dark Reign is then put straight into your 5.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Weapon X program? So
I chuck Weapon X program in because obviously with Sabretooth, throw Sabretooth at an enemy.
Don't take the damage.
They do... potentially, and then can use Sabretooth to attack rather than move.
I like it.
I liked it as well. It was that or Exceptional Healing, and I'm probably always going to choose this over Exceptional Healing because sod healing. Or sorry, stopping.
What did we say? Best offense, the best defense is a
throw.
Yep. And
into their face. Field dressing again, like we said, you can change this for med pack, whatever you prefer. And then I decided to throw this one. I think I'm going to try and use this card more often. Because I like it.
It's a new card, right?
It's newish.
Okay.
It came with. Did it come with Angela and Enchantress? I only say that because it's got Enchantress on the card. It might have actually come with one of the Black Order characters. I've forgotten which set this comes with. It is newish though.
Yeah.
Spend 1 power before you make an attack roll. If you do damage, that character cannot heal this round. Now
it was Enchantress and Angela.
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was. So I got this back in September, but obviously it didn't officially come out until January.
Yeah, this card's good.
I like it. I just think there's that annoying time when you daze a character.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, he's dealt with for this turn. Or like Hulk or She-Hulk, for example. You daze them and you think, good, they're gone. And then some
very nice person comes along,
runs over with a field dressing, and they undaze, and you're like, I just dealt with you. Like, can you just go away?
Yeah.
And if you paid the 1 power for grievous wounds, they would have gone away because the opponent cannot heal that character for the rest of the round.
Yeah.
Like, it's even good if you hit someone or even if you hit I don't know, Doctor Strange or something.
Strange, yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. Strange.
Now heal yourself, you prick. I love Doctor Strange, but
yeah.
What's Wong going to do now? Yeah, exactly. Nothing.
I mean, you're probably killing Wong if you're hitting him.
True, that is true. But I really like Grievous Wounds. I think it should see more play. Yeah. Maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure whether it is seeing loads of play, but I hope it is because I think it's a good card.
I like your spread of tactic cards there.
Thank you.
I mean, the crisis here are sort of less important than the one we're going to go
I
into.
did. I may have just picked a bunch that I like playing.
But you went with the general consensus of you're trying to go high, apart from Gamma, because
Apart from Gamma, because you also want to
MODOK is MODOK and Enchantress on Gamma. Like,
yeah, it's just and Loki. Chuck Loki in there as well.
I mean, I don't think you can.
No. I mean, assuming you're not playing the 15 power.
Yeah. Oh,
threat.
okay,
yeah. I think if I win, I get Gamma, I probably choose whatever the other threat level is.
That's fair.
Assuming it's not like 14.
But I like this fluffy list, and I think you can.
Although at 14, I could play MODOK, Loki, and Enchantress with a gem.
Yeah, you can.
Just don't worry about Red Skull. Just be like, yeah. I think it's fun.
And I think when you go to your slightly more competitive list, you can very clearly see that it's built upon the base.
Yeah, obviously this one was isn't my list as such. This was we asked some friends. They came back to us and
sort of had like a Facebook mind.
Yeah. So I showed the original list, and this is what Wargaming Dad came up with for us.
Yeah.
And there's so it's 5.
It's a dual affiliation.
5 characters, I think, survive. 4.
Yeah, you basically keep the Red Skull. You keep
Red Skull. You got
Zemo,
MODOK,
Enchantress,
and
Sabretooth.
And Sabretooth, actually, yeah. But then you're adding in the other Cabal Brotherhood members, Magneto and Mystique.
Brilliant.
You're also adding Toad in for a 2-threat character.
Yeah, which is really good for that flexibility roster building.
You're then adding in Lockjaw.
Yep.
For those teleporting shenanigans, and for one of the tactics cards that we'll see in a second.
Yep.
And Ghost Spider, which isn't. Again, this is more of a controlling list, so you know why she's there, because she Ghost Spiders.
Like Ghost Spider is one of those characters that I'm going to practice with more because.
Well, I really want to play Web Warriors. So
I can quite clearly see how good she is, but I position her wrong every game, so I never get the most out of her. I think
the 2 games we played where you used her, I punched her off the board both games.
Yeah. I mean, she did like Lifesaver once, and I was like, oh, this is how good it is. This is how good it can be. I should be positioning her better, but that is all practice. But I can clearly see why she's in this list, which is trying to be very controlling.
Yeah, 100%. And she's actually okay at dishing out some damage as well.
She's
not bad. Like she's not obviously that's not what she's there for, but she can add a bit of damage to it, get some extra power.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why she's been there, and I really like this list. You can switch to Brotherhood if you want to. If there's a lot of terrain on the table,
I think that's the thing, isn't it?
I'm just going to switch to Magneto and throw a load of stuff.
Yep.
But we're not going to talk about that too much because this is a Cabal episode. But this list. But
I think competitive lists want flexibility.
Absolutely. You need to think about that slightly more flexibility.
Yeah.
This gives you that, and you've got the controlling Cabal option.
Yeah.
And you've also got the option just to switch up to Brotherhood to be gaining that extra power off the terrain. Of course, you can still play Cabal and use Magneto and throw a bunch of stuff at people, but you're then not gaining that extra power for it, which is it's fine because you're still dishing out the damage, but then you're not getting so much power. Oh, I guess you are still getting power from Red Skull's
because it's Red Skull. Yeah.
Well, no, you don't get it's only on attacks.
Not on the throw, but on the attacks, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
So tactics cards. Again, very similar. You've still got Cosmic Invigoration, still got Brace for Impact, still got Field Dressing, still got all you've got, still got
Dark Rain.
So
and then basically all you've added then are the character specific ones. So Asteroid M.
Asteroid M for the Brotherhood if you do decide to run the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Which is their movement shenanigans.
Yeah. Deception, you're playing Mystique.
If you play Mystique, you want Deception because so good.
It's brilliant.
And then you've got last minute save on Lockjaw, which is broken.
I mean, I don't think it is because remember they have caveated this already. Like there was a day one.
Oh, that is true.
There's a day one errata, so you can't use your own stuff
Yeah.
Like it has to be from an enemy attack now.
Yeah, enemy effect. Yeah.
Yeah, which was the big one because sort of.
Correct. Yeah, basically, Lockjaw can spend 3 power.
Yeah.
Within range 3, if an enemy character would be KO'd and he is not KO'd, removes 1 damage and is moved within 1 of Lockjaw.
Yeah.
But the card doesn't say enemy effect.
Yeah.
But it was FAQ'd straight away to say it is by enemy effect only. So that would be a throw, an attack, superpower, for example. Crises, slightly different, sort of the same. You've got those E-maps in this.
Basically what you're doing here is doing that competitive thing where you're forcing what you want.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And you want that E-map if possible, because you want to be clustered around the middle. Montesi kind of isn't an E-map because it's obviously grab and move, but it can start to be an E-map.
I mean, you've had pretty good success with Brotherhood on Montesi with like Toad and stuff.
Toad is so good. Toad just give me Toad all day long. Best 2-threat character in the game.
Yeah, I think I quite like that. I think that's pretty good. You're keeping Hammers because Hammers is still good. Hammers is Hammers, and it's still good on that. You can't go quite as punchy in your more competitive list, but you know what? You've still got Zemo, you've still got Sabretooth, you've still got Magneto, man. Magneto wields hammers like nobody else.
I think any ranged character with hammers is also really good.
MODOK with hammers. Remember that game where MODOK had 2 hammers, and I was just like, this, I can't.
That's because Thanos came and gave him a hammer.
I just can't be bothered to play this game.
Yeah, because you gave me a hammer with Thanos. You picked up a hammer, ran at me, and then I went
died.
Bye-bye.
That was my first game with Thanos, everyone. Like that was
his last game with Thanos.
Yeah, sure.
Because it was funny though. It was good. That was good. That was a good game. And that's it for.
I like it.
For the Cabal there, for my sort of idea for. It wasn't my idea, but actually I chose the Crises because that was it. Actually, that was my only input. Apart from
it was pretty straightforward.
Making the original list, so it was good. I like it. I'm definitely going to give Cabal a go. It might be with Brotherhood, might be with Criminal Syndicate.
Very nice.
I've played a lot of Criminal Syndicate. I'm thinking of sort of fading away from them for a little bit now. Because
we're both in similar mindsets where we don't get bored, but we just want to try new things. And I think
100%. I've definitely not got bored of this game yet.
But I will always I can always go back to Avengers, and I'll be perfectly happy going back to Avengers. But at the moment, I want to try new things, and I think you're the same with Criminal Syndicate. That was the thing that you played the most of. You played a lot of it, and I think we're both.
As soon as Kingpin came out, I was like, well, this is my affiliation. And it will be for a long time because I love the Footsloggers. So. I think once we get a few more as well, I can't wait. Black Cat.
I think that's a good little look at a nice roster there and a good breakdown of the affiliation.
Yeah. Were there any other tactics cards you wanted to mention?
The only one I actually think if you're playing MODOK, and I haven't seen played all that much, is Psychic Fortress. The 3 power the 3 power to just gain cover for both MODOK and every allied character within 4. I think it's pretty good. I think cover is always good, and particularly on those E-maps where you can sort of you'll be kind of a bit more clustered up. Like you may very well have your entire force within 4 of MODOK. I quite liked it. And the only other one I looked at was Age of Ultron, but obviously we didn't really look at Ultron at all. But this is just a if Ultron's KO'd, you spend 8 power, so it's ludicrously expensive. But what then happens is you remove all conditions, you remove all damage, you return to his healthy side, he drops all objectives, and he's placed within 3 of his current location, and he isn't killed. So it's similar to Ghost Rider in the sense that it's an ability that allows you to
cost you another character though.
But it doesn't cost you a character, but costs you 8 power instead.
Which you have to plan ahead for that one.
Absolutely, you do. And I think if a savvy opponent sees an Ultron and 8 power, they're just not killing it. They're going to find. They'll find another way of doing this.
Just wait, because if you've got 8 power, you're probably going to be using his other attacks, and stuff.
Yeah, it would take a very stubborn, like strong-willed Ultron player to be like, sweet, I'm of 8 power. I'm just going to keep it until
I die.
Yeah, until I die.
Yeah, unless he's got, it's like you. I guess if he's holding a couple of objectives, your opponent might have no other choice to attack him. But still,
if he's to be honest, then if he dies, he has to drop all his objectives anyway. So
exactly,
it's not that good. But I thought those were really the only other cards I really wanted to look at.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that.
There are Brotherhood ones, and there's Usurp the Throne, but I think we'll look at that when we look at Wakanda.
I will definitely mention that in Wakanda, because I think that'll probably be in the Wakanda list.
Yeah, we just want a few more cards to talk about in Wakanda.
Certainly, because that's going to be a much shorter episode.
But, I think you have.
Yeah,
I think you've really covered covered everything there. It was difficult to look at comic recommendations for Cabal. I don't know if you had a similar thing, because
yes and no, because obviously,
in my mind, what really I had there was in MCP, like the Cabal is really just the big supervillain affiliation, whereas in the comics the Cabal was like a slightly different. It's like almost like a dark Illuminati, if you will, comprised of like Namor, Doctor Doom, Emma Frost, Loki, the Hood, and Norman Osborn, and it sort of came around post Secret Invasion during the Dark Reign story. So it's slightly different to the Cabal that we see in MCP, which is fine. I think it's fine just having that big bad guy affiliation.
It's definitely just the name that they've used. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have used a different name, but it also works. So
yeah, I mean, because you look at the activation tokens for the Cabal, and it's just the Hydra symbol.
I guess they didn't want to call it Hydra.
They didn't want to call it Hydra because then you couldn't really have characters like Loki and stuff like that in there. The other big villain team is the Masters of Evil, which had like Baron Zemo and characters like that, but even that really doesn't cover
a lot of them.
So really what I did when I looked at comic recommendations was basically look at that Cabal, so the Dark Reign story. It was interesting. It wasn't my favorite read. It's definitely not the best thing I've read. It was written in 2008 by Brian Michael Bendis with art from Alex Maleev, who is fantastic actually. And if you're a visual reader like me for comic books, like I don't always read it for the story, I'm quite often in it for the art as well. It is brilliant, and it basically focuses around Norman Osborn and his rise to national power. But it's very much just like a generic supervillain storyline, much like Bendis's Dark Avengers. But yeah, so the big recommendation I had was focused around the leader of MCP's Cabal, which is the Red Skull. And for me, that was the Red Shadow story arc. From 2012's Uncanny Avengers Volume 1, written by Rick Remender and art by John Cassaday. So this is just the first arc of the Uncanny Avengers, issues 1 to 6, and it focuses on a superhero team comprised of both members of the Avengers and the X-Men, and they're known as the Avengers Unity Squad, and basically Red Skull is the big bad of this first storyline.
Nice.
And it's really quite brilliant. The whole Uncanny Avengers runs for about 30 issues. I think it's a little bit under 30 issues, and it is generally recommended by me. I think it gets a bit wibbly wobbly in the middle, but then picks up again at the end. But it all leads to 2014's Axis crossover storyline, which then is written by Remender, and it has art from a really brilliant art team of Adam Kubert, Lionel Francis Yu, Terry Dodson, and Jim Chung. All brilliant creators and artists, so it's a very pretty book to look at. It's 9 issues, and once again, Red Skull is the big bad. So Remender's story starts with Red Skull being the big villain. You see like other sort of other villains crop up in the story, and then it ends with Red Skull as the big villain. So yeah, it's a really good story. I think even if you just read that first 6 and then the Axis storyline, I think you do get a really cool Red Skull story where I don't want to spoil anything, but it's like super evil Red Skull. It's just like very Saturday morning evil cartoon villain sort of thing.
Nice.
And I don't think you can go too far wrong with that. And you said to me, or you said at the beginning of this when you were talking about MODOK, that you've read comic books with MODOK in, and I thought when I was doing this, I don't think I've ever read a comic book with classic MODOK in.
So, yeah, I have, but they're all really old.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
really, like really old. I haven't. I can't think of any like modern. Like the kind of recommendations that you give, I'm struggling to think of any.
I mean, the only one I could come up with was a pretty fun story I read called West Coast Avengers. It was volume 3, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Stefano Caselli. Came out pretty recently. I think we're talking like 2018. And it deals with MODOK going to the West Coast, so California, and
Just wants to tan up that face of his.
Yeah, well, basically he gives himself a bro body, so he becomes a really handsome, attractive, fit man, and he calls himself Brodok, which is the bio-robotic organism designed overwhelmingly for kissing. And his big master plan here is to get revenge on all the women who have spurned his advances throughout the years by turning them into monsters. Because obviously he was a monster, and now he's like a super duper attractive man, and now he wants to take all these super duper attractive women and turn them into monsters. But obviously that attracts the attention of the West Coast Avengers, and over a sort of, I think it's 9 issues, it's you basically see the fall of that, and it's silly. It's not a serious comic book here.
It's what you get from MODOK.
It's what you get from MODOK, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw this out there. It's not everyone's favourite little run, but it's one I enjoyed, which again, it's on Red Skull, and it's the Rise of Red Skull. Weirdly, it's kind of described as the Rise of Red Skull, except he's never the Red Skull in this. This is
just Johann Schmidt, is he?
Johann Schmidt. It's Red Skull Incarnate.
Okay.
It's 5 issues. It was by Greg Pak.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm
who is he did some good work on X-Men, I believe, Magneto. And the artist was Mirko Kolak.
Doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head.
Secret Testament?
Nope.
No.
Oh.
No, Secret Warriors, sorry. I'm thinking of Magneto X-Men, Magneto Testament. Secret Warriors. He did work on Secret Warriors, was Kolak. It's not everyone's taste. The story is it's the Nazi stuff. So it's kind of it's more historical, obviously not historical because it's a comic book, but it kind of has those dark undertones of Nazism and Nazi Germany, and it's kind of Red Skull going from orphan to Hitler's sort of right-hand man type thing, and there's a few dark things in there.
Shocking.
I know
we're not dealing with overly pleasant themes here, man.
Yeah, no, I mean it's Red Skull. Some of the decision making is kind of like, I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but it's kind of not explaining the story, which I think is why a few people don't like it. It's not necessarily the most in-depth, and he never actually becomes the Red Skull in the actual little run there. But I liked it. I liked the Nazi side of it in terms of seeing that his rise and how he met Hitler and things.
Yep, that's cool. I might need to check that out then.
It's worth, like I said, it's 5 issues. It's worth the read.
Yeah, you can't go wrong, really, can you?
It's not going to take up a huge amount of your time. I like the artwork. I know, again, some people don't like his style. But yeah, I think it's worth the read.
So, what was that one? That was Red Skull, Rise of Red Skull.
No, Red Skull Incarnate.
Red Skull Incarnate. Well, that's right.
It's 2011.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna check that out. I think I'm gonna check that out.
I think it's worth a read. Like I said, 5 issues.
Yeah. Don't like it. What's
you see him being a dick as a kid, basically.
Yeah.
But not always a dick. He's kind of it very much shows the sort of him in a world where power is everything.
Yeah. And I think that is the crux of Red Skull.
Absolutely.
Did you read Loki, Agent of Asgard? I know might be creeping into an Asgard, but I have so many recommendations for Asgard stories. I thought I'm going to sneak this one here. This is relatively recent. It's Al Ewing and Lee Garrett, I think.
Okay.
And this is from 2014, and it's a Loki story. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. It spun out into a Vote Loki mini sort of like a 4-issue where Loki goes up to become president of the US. It was sort of a bit satirical and whatnot. But no, this Al Ewing and Garbutt run, I think the whole thing. I've read all 17 issues and it was all brilliant. I think you can pick up any trade in that story, and it sort of deals with Loki, and I think we're going to see it a bit in the Loki TV show coming up, where Loki's not a good guy, he's not a bad guy, like he's just bumbling his way through the universe, doing Loki things, and yeah, it's cool. I recommend that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is it, I think, for Cabal. I think we'll do it. Well, we may do Asgard next. We may decide. We may do, throw a curveball in and choose something else. But it's likely to be Asgard next.
It'll probably be a good guy affiliation. I'm doing air quotes here. So
yeah. I mean, Asgard is technically they're like 50-50 at the moment, but almost 50-50.
But Thor's a good guy, so he.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pick something. It'll be. I think the main reason I'm thinking Asgard is that I've played them a lot, so I don't need to think about.
Yeah, it's easy to use
too much.
And I've used a couple of the characters, Loki and
cool.
Valkyrie and Defenders. So, right, yeah. So, lastly, we're going to finish on a little preview that we've had of an upcoming character pack.
Yeah. We're overrunning a little bit, so we're not going to break down this character. I think we're just going to look at him and do very quickly gut reactions. So it is.
So
Deadpool,
hopefully
Wade
he's
Wilson.
on screen.
I can see him.
Good.
Wade Wilson is a 3-threat character. I was adamant he was going to be a 4, but
I thought he was going to be like a 10-threat character.
So he is size 2, moves medium. On his healthy side, he has 4 health, and on injured side, he has 6. Defenses are 3 physical, 3 energy, 4 mystic. He's got 3 attacks. They're all physical. He's got stab, which is a range 2, 5 dice, 0 cost builder, so he gains power equal to the damage dealt. He's then got bang, which is range 4, 4 dice, 0 cost again. So he's got 2 0 cost attacks. Bang has 2 sort of rules to it. He's got bang bang and bang bang bang. I can't quite see here, but I think it's a wild and a hit. Is it?
A wild and a hit triggers bang bang, and then if you get which is an additional attack.
Yeah.
And then if you roll on that additional attack, not on the original attack, on the additional attack, if you roll I think it's 2 hits in a wild.
2 hits in a wild as well.
Then it triggers another bang attack. So you could, in theory, get 3 4 dice attacks, but it's pretty unlikely.
Like you're gonna be wielding 2 or 3 hammers to get this off.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's always the luck factor.
We know he's got a superpower coming up where it allows you to reroll dice, and if there are other things that allow you to reroll dice, maybe it's a little bit more probable. Regardless, I think it's pretty fun. It sums, Deadpool up in a nutshell. He's just going to be firing those guns regardless of, whatever. Yep. He's got a 3rd attack here. I can't.
It's Dudenium
Poke. Yeah, it's Dudenium Poke. Yeah. So range 2, 6 dice, 3 cost. If this character deals damage after the attack is resolved, target gains the bleed and slow special conditions. So for 3 power, you get 6 dice, and you get, as long as you've dealt damage, you get 2 pretty relevant conditions onto your opponent there, which is cool.
Yeah. Don't dislike it.
Don't dislike it. So I think on that front side, you're looking at those attacks. You're like, okay, I can kind of understand why he's 3 costs there. Nothing
attacks
overwhelming.
special.
Exactly. Defenses are slightly above average. His health is definitely below average.
Yeah,
but we got 4 superpowers. So we got Merc with a Mouth. This is the only one that costs power. All the other ones are just active all the time. So this costs 3.
Yeah.
And you basically choose an enemy character within 3 of this character. It loses 2 power. The character may be affected by this superpower only once per round.
It's pretty horrible, actually.
I mean, he's literally talking
Out
to
of
you.
Power.
Yeah, to the point where you're just like, I can't be asked with this anymore. Like, I just cannot be done. And that's I've sort of explained this to Matt. I struggle with Deadpool. There's very few comics that I've read where I've been like, Deadpool's cool. I've enjoyed the movies for what they are.
I enjoyed Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe the first time round. It didn't need a second run.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was poking fun at the Marvel Universe.
The thing with Deadpool is just people just lose their mind over Deadpool. I'm like, he is not that cool. Like he's fine.
Not. He's not, and we have similar tastes in that respect. So
but I think a very good ability. It is expensive in the sense that it costs 3, but losing 2 power. Wow. Okay, we've not seen anything like this. Just straight up lose power. It's very cool. So he's got an active superpower. Oh, sorry, yeah, that's right. It's always on. I know karate. So this character may reroll 1 die in its attack and defense rolls. So
which is nice.
That is nice, especially considering Bang, for example, is only 4 dice, and you just always get that reroll. You don't have to do anything for it. I think that's good. Unicorns, rainbows, and sugar plums dancing through my head. This character cannot be pushed or advanced by effects from
mental attacks
or enemy superpowers.
Because his mind is fucked up.
Yep, he's seen it all, and he's had it all done to him, and there's nothing you can do to Deadpool that he hasn't already experienced. So, yep, mental attacks. Just that push off MODOK. He ain't bowing to no will of MODOK, is what I'm saying.
No, I think you can.
It's just
attacks. Oh no, it's a superpower. Yeah, ignore me.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah, I thought so. And last but not least, he has healing factor 2, so like Wolverine. I think that's less relevant on his healthy side because he's only got 4 health. I still
think it's relevant. If you don't take that 4 damage in 1 hit, then he's going to be annoying.
Still relevant, but more relevant.
Less relevant.
Yeah, more relevant on his dazed side because he has 6 health, and there are a few things that change on his dazed side. So he basically loses the Dudenium poke attack. Yep. I believe both stab and bang stay the same.
They do,
but he gains maximum effort,
which is
this is a very cool attack. So it costs 4. It's range 2, 7 dice.
Which is good.
Yeah, I think that's fine. On a wild, you get Dance Party, which is pretty cool. After this attack is resolved, this character may advance short. After this advance, each character within 2 of this character just suffers a damage. And then this character gains 1 for each damage dealt this way. So he's just like dancing his way through, slicing his swords, like just
gaining some power,
dealing some damage. This is cool. We've not seen anything like this either, where it's like it's a decent attack to begin with, and then the splash damage is slightly controllable because you can move your dead. It is only a short, and you do have to then be. But it's
range 2 isn't a small amount. You can definitely get yourself within 2 or 3 characters.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. So he keeps Merc with a Mouth, and he keeps I Know Karate, and he keeps Unicorn Rainbows and Sugar Plum Dancing Through My Head.
And he obviously still has a healing factor
2, but he gains a 5th superpower.
And this is where I'm like, Criminal Syndicate just got a new member.
So, all right, now it's serious. ... This character always counts as healthy instead of injured for the purposes of controlling objectives, playing team tactics cards, and other special rules.
Now, they have already said that this reveal was not the final card, and I believe they took out the team tactics card.
They took out the team tactics, I believe, correct.
Because of things like All You've Got.
Yeah, could you imagine?
I'm playing All You've Got. Nah, he's just dazed.
Yeah, it's just dazed. Yeah. So my initial gut reaction, I don't know about you, is I'm very thankful for AMG for this Deadpool. I saw the model and I was immediately scared that he was going to do some game-breaking shenanigans, maybe like affecting opponents' team tactics cards. Or
that would have been great. I actually, that would have been hilarious.
like
not great for the game, but hilarious.
Yeah, but like I was expecting more like fourth wall breaking stuff, and really what they've done is keep the fourth wall breaking to the names of the superpowers.
Yes.
I think, so you get the flavor of the character being this fourth wall, cocky, silly character, but actually the character itself, I don't think is broken. I think he has homes. Like you say, I think Criminal Syndicate has definitely gained another member here. Him costing 3 is amazing for that particular roster. And you know what? He's an annoying character, and that is what Deadpool is. Deadpool is an annoying character, and I think they chose to focus on that element of the character as opposed
rather than the I still don't like the model.
No, if I get it, and that's a big if, my birthday's coming up, we're taking that rocket off, and he's just, I'm going to have to do some reposing there. Maybe I must have a tactical rock lying around. AMG, we love tactical rocks. You didn't need to give us a rocket on this one. I would have been happy with the tactical rock.
I would have. Yeah, that's. Yeah, it's almost like they were like, okay, we made his rules too sensible. Let's just give him a stupid ass model.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure people that like Deadpool more than us will be like, yeah, I love it, and I love this.
And I've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen it on Facebook. We've seen it on the live streams, on the reactions and stuff. People love this model.
Some people hate it. I'm glad we're not the only ones. I've definitely seen negative comments.
Yeah. But that is also Deadpool in a nutshell as well. As someone who is in the pretty active in the comic book sort of community as well. Like Deadpool divides. Like he does. And he always has. He's always been this goofy character that some people are just like, I can't get behind this being in the same universe as Logan and things like that, but they do, and
it's a thing.
It's a thing, exactly.
Yeah, there are stupider characters out there.
Yeah. But I was pleasantly surprised with this character, and I'm happy with this character.
Yeah, I think, we'll see, when he comes out. But he's not breaking anything like we were worried he might. Yeah,
I was very worried he was going to. So, I think this is cool.
Absolutely.
So
that is it for today. That is it.
Yeah. Sorry, there's going to be a little bit of editing at the beginning there, Matt. I apologise. But hopefully for everyone else, you could hear what we had to say on the Cabal. And, a couple of comic book recommendations. And if you have had any experience with Cabal in the past and you've got rosters and you want to share with us, I'm more than happy to. We're on Facebook, JMPR Gaming. We both got our own pages. Happy to have PMs and chats with whoever wants to share lists and ideas. But I think that does it for today. I think next week, like I said, I'm going to pencil in Asgard, and we'll probably look at Bob, maybe.
I think we'll check Bob up at the end. I think he's the next reveal, so I think it should be done. He's interesting, actually. He's interesting. Yeah. He's more he's more interesting than I thought he would be. And I hate to say it because I was like, but that is. I think that's maybe a slightly longer discussion than Deadpool, actually.
I agree. So, but I'm glad to be back, and
we are glad to have you back, and that you're well.
Well.
Wow.
We're getting there.
You're out.
I'm better. I'm out of hospital. I can walk and I can talk, which is a million times better than where I was 14 days ago. So, if you enjoyed this one, let us know. Give us a like, give us a comment. And thanks for today, Matt.
Very welcome, mate.
We'll chat the next time.
See you soon, guys.
Bye.